powerful forces arrayed against them. And they come in the form of organized crime and gangs. They come in the form of special interests that exploit them. And they come in the form of career politicians, insider, fat cat politicians, care more about protecting those special interests and those insiders and the money they make off the government, the money they make off your backs, than they do about protecting the people of Georgia. Y'all, the Attorney General of the state of Georgia, you are the sword and the shield of the state. You, above any other person, above any other entity, are supposed to be standing in between those forces arrayed against the people and now when you got somebody and you need somebody to stand between them, they better know what in the world they're talking about. And they better know what they're doing. Now my opponent is a nice guy. I know him. We're probably going to be at the same wedding in September. We have mutual friends. I think I'm a pretty nice guy. But, as y'all may have heard me say before, that's not a qualification for being Attorney General. My opponent's never prosecuted a case. He's never tried a case. He's never argued a motion in front of a judge. And he hadn't practiced law in 17 years. Y'all, if any of your mothers, if your aunts, your cousins, your nieces needed an attorney, would you hire for them an attorney that has never tried a case, never argued in front of a judge, and hadn't practiced law in 17 years? And so why in the world should the people of Georgia, their attorney, the one they already paid for with their tax dollars, why should they hire somebody like that? Just so somebody can sit in a comfy seat and wait for the next political appointment to come along. That seat up there in Atlanta does not belong to any political party. And it does not belong to the lobbyists. It belongs to the people of Georgia. It is for their champion. Y'all, I could talk to you all day and I could say, listen, I want you to vote for me. I want you to talk in your community. I want you to give me money and all the above. Because I've got a better resume than my opponent. Which I do. But that's not the most important thing in this. The most important thing is, what do you do? What are your deeds? And see, I grew up in the church. The church, as you can see over the pasture right through there. And in that church I learned that words without deeds, they are dead. We don't get to determine how much time we have on this earth, but what we certainly do get to determine is what we do with that time. And so frankly, my opponent, to any other politician that wants to give a speech or send a tweet, we don't really care about your words, because see, there are people hurting. And so show us your deeds. That'll tell me what your priorities really are. So what am I talking about? 3 things I want to point out to you. Where the deeds, my deeds, will be different than my opponents have been. And how that affect people's lives. Y'all, right now, and y'all probably know this, but right out of law school, I went to work for Governor Barnes. I was a civil litigator. Did that for 3.5 years. I then went to the DA's office in Fulton, the largest and the busiest district attorney's office in the Southeast. And I prosecuted there for the better part of the last 4 years, most recently as a gang prosecutor. I put away some of those violent people in the state of Georgia, murderers, people who committed aggravated assault, kidnapping for ransom. Right now, there's not one assistant attorney general, not one, working on organized crime and gangs. There's not one assistant attorney general working on human trafficking. And you hear about these things in the paper, right? And you hear a lot of politicians getting a lot of lip service, talking about human trafficking, talking about gangs. It's what something you see on a national coverage. But if you ever hear anybody talking about human trafficking and they don't mention organized crime, that's No, they don't have the first idea what in the world they are talking about. And so why does that matter for the Attorney General? Well, see, these organized crime syndicates and these gangs, not only are they committing executions in our streets, not only are they committing carjackings, burglaries, not only are they moving poison throughout our communities, whether it's urban, suburban, rural, not only are they involved in modern day human slavery or human trafficking, but it's not the leaders of these gangs and organized crime syndicates that do the dirty work. In all my time as a gang prosecutor, I probably had an individual that was over the age of 23 maybe 5 times. They get the youngest. They're going in to our neighborhoods, to our homes, to our schools, and they're pulling the young folks out, and they're putting the guns in their hands, and they're putting them on the streets to do these things, to run the poison throughout our state. And when they do that, when they pull them into the gangs, we lose them too. We lose them to the coffin, or we lose them to prison. Your Attorney General is supposed to be the top prosecutor in the state, statutorily and by the Constitution, the chief law enforcement officer. You have got to be somewhere on this. When I am elected Attorney General, we're going to form an organized crime division within the AG's office. That'll be the envy of the entire country. We're not going to have one assistant AG on this. We're going to have some of the best detectives in the Southeast, some of the best attorneys in the Southeast. And what we're going to do is we're going to go after these organized crime syndicates at the head. We're going to cut the head off the snake. Because when we do that, when we frustrate their ability to move their money around, that's when we frustrate their ability to move the poison around. That's when we frustrate their ability to move human beings around. That's when we frustrate their ability to go into our neighborhoods and take our own folks out. And there's only one entity with a statewide jurisdiction to do that. Those are the deeds that you have to expect and deserve out of your Attorney General. Because when we do that, and I'm not naive, you're never going to eradicate organized crime. No more than you're going to eradicate sin. I also learned that in that church. But you can never let the perfect be the enemy of the good. We have got to work in the right direction. Because when we do this and we save 1,000 lives or 500 lives or 100 lives, well, think of many hundreds of the thousands of the mothers and the fathers and the sons and the daughters and the nieces and the nephews that will have those people. And think of the spiderwebbing effect of what that has. And the growth of children. And the ability of them to achieve their goals and their dreams. That is the real life effect of service. Of public service. That's what you're supposed to do as the people's champion. That's why that seat belongs to the people. So that's the prosecutor side. The other side is you are the top lawyer. You're the people's lawyer. You decide, not the governor, not the legislature, you decide what is the legal opinion of the state of Georgia. And what that entails is you decide whether to bring suit. And if suit is brought against the state, you decide whether and how to defend it. So we've got an opioid crisis sweeping this country. It's sweeping this state. We're one of 10 states where hydrocodone is the most highly prescribed medication. And before it was opioids, we had methamphetamine, we've had cocaine and crack cocaine. It's not the first epidemic. But in this one, we can trace it back to 2.5 decades ago. The 2.5 decades ago from the 50s right up until 25 years ago, it was a relatively flat line in opioid prescription and use across the Western world, including the United States. And then 25 years ago, it spikes. Well, we lost Governor Miller this year. And Governor Miller used to say, Zell used to say it almost every single speech. Y'all, you see a turtle on top of a fence post. One thing you know about that turtle, it didn't get there by itself. This did not happen in a vacuum. Some pharmaceutical companies, not all, but some, they made a business decision, a business decision to engage in deceptive marketing practices. They told our doctors, deliberately marketing, and we got marketing materials to prove it. They said, you have to treat pain. You have to treat pain. It's the only way to do it. The non-addicted. And they hammered it over and over and over again. Well, in Harris County here, we call that a lie. That's a lie. Now, you're a fancy lawyer, you got to say it's a deceptive marketing practice. That's the trick. Whatever you call it, it was wrong and it was illegal. And they made their choice. Now we get to make ours. And when I'm elected here Attorney General, we're going to bring suit against every single pharmaceutical company that deceptively marketed opioids into our state. And when we recover the hundreds of millions of dollars that is owed to y'all, because beyond the tragic loss of human life, which is in the tens of thousands in Georgia now, there's hundreds of millions in your hard-earned tax dollars that is trying to desperately deal with this public health crisis, whether you're talking about the police or the hospitals and social workers, the jails. I talk to sheriff almost every single day. Number one issues they tell me about is that the jails are turning into mental health wards and drug rehabilitation wards, and they are not suited to do that. When we recover these hundreds of millions of dollars on behalf of y'all, we're going to build treatment facilities around this state. Those pharmaceutical companies, they're going to pay for every single dime. We're going to take it out of their hide. Because God forbid you suffer from an addiction. Lord, that's hard enough. But Lord, God forbid you suffer from addiction and you do not have means. There's nowhere to go. Your best hope is getting locked up in some county that's got a drug court program, and then maybe you can get some help there. That shouldn't be the case. This will literally save lives. These are the deeds that you have to demand who is supposed to be the people's champion, not the champion of special needs. Last issue I want to talk about is my opponent has us engaged in litigation right now to strip away the protections of those that have pre-existing conditions in Georgia, which is the most conservative estimate. Over 4 million people. We got 10.4 million people in the state. Over 4 million of them have a pre-existing condition. And in this litigation he is in, the end result is we strip away that protection. Right now, you cannot be denied coverage, and you cannot be charged an exorbitant amount if you have got a pre-existing condition. If my opponent is successful, that is stripped away. And it puts over 40% of our brothers and sisters and neighbors at risk. Now, forgive me, but I thought your job was to protect those people. Maybe I'm just silly. On my first day in office, before any press conferences or anything, I said, bring me the pen and bring me the paper. I would pull us out of that litigation on the very first day, and I'll put us into the other side. Stand on behalf of the people of Georgia that need us. And those are the deeds. Those are the deeds that you deserve out of your attorney general. Those are the deeds that you deserve. Y'all, 50 years ago, we lost Dr. King, and we lost Bobby Kennedy, and the day after Dr. King was murdered in Memphis, Tennessee, Bobby went to Cleveland, and he gave a speech. It came to be known as Mindless Menace of Violence. And in that speech, he said the victims of violence, they are old, and they are young, they are famous, they are known, they are black, and they are white. More than anything, they are human beings. The human beings and other human beings loved and they needed. Yet we tolerate a rising level of violence, one that ignores our common humanity and claims to civilization alike. We learn to look at our brother as alien, men with whom we share a city, but not a community, men bound to us in common dwelling, but not in common effort. We learn to share only a common fear, only a common desire to retreat from one another, only a common impulse to meet disagreement with force. Now, it is sad that 50 years later I can stand here in West Georgia and Harris County and I can say those words, and they ring just as true. But it doesn't have to be that way. Dr. King taught us, before he left us, he taught us that violence, yes, it comes in the form of that physical criminal violence, but it also comes in the form of poverty, and it comes in the form of addiction. And your Attorney General is supposed to be the one fighting back against that violence. Above anyone, above anything, is supposed to be the one protecting the people of Georgia, and when they are harmed, whether it be by a violent gang member, corrupt insurance company, or a special interest, you're supposed to go out and give them justice. Those are the deals. Y'all, country music singer Willie Watson wrote the song, "We are all in this thing together." And we are. These challenges I'm talking about, they are not insurmountable, but they are large. We can overcome, and we will overcome, but we only will if we stand together. Because we are all Democrats, Republicans, black, white, urban, and rural. We are all connected, and we are all together. Do not fall prey to those that profit and benefit, driving up these walls of distinction, those of ethnicity, of sex, sexual orientation, of town and country, and urban and suburban. Tear down those walls and stand on that rubble and stand together and work in the right direction and demand more of those people that owe you their allegiance. I promise you, you stand with me in this election, and you will never have to apologize, and you will always know that your friend, Charlie, he stands up for you. Thank you.